Every gardener who's tried vermicomposting knows the frustration. You buy a batch of worms, they thrive for a while, and then you open your bin one day to find they've vanished, died off, or thinned out. Worms can be expensive to replace, and store-bought populations often struggle to adapt to new bins or soil. That was me, until I discovered one of the simplest, cheapest tricks imaginable, using cardboard to breed and attract my own worms. No purchases needed. It sounds too easy, but this method works because it mimics what worms love most in nature: dark, moist, decomposing organic layers rich in microbial life. With just cardboard, moisture, and time, you can create a self-sustaining worm system that keeps your compost bin or garden bed crawling with life all year long. Worms aren't just eating your scraps, they're actually feeding on the microbes that break those scraps down. Cardboard is a perfect microbial breeding ground. It's made of cellulose and lignin, both carbon-rich materials that fungi and bacteria love to colonize. Once those microbes start multiplying, the worms move in like miners chasing gold. Unlike kitchen scraps that rot quickly and attract pests, cardboard breaks down slowly and evenly. It holds moisture without getting slimy, creating a stable, oxygen-rich environment, exactly what red wigglers and earthworms prefer. The corrugated layers in cardboard even mimic natural burrows, offering perfect hiding spots and airflow. That's why adding cardboard doesn't just attract worms, it helps them reproduce. Within a few weeks, you'll start noticing cocoons, which are these tiny lemon-shaped eggs scattered throughout. And each one can hatch up to 3 new worms. Here's exactly how I turn plain cardboard into a worm magnet that keeps my compost teeming with life. First, collect plain brown cardboard. You'll want to avoid anything glossy, colored, or printed with heavy inks. Boxes from groceries, shipping, or packaging work just fine. Oh, and don't forget to tear off any tape or stickers. Alright, so the next step is to shred or tear up your cardboard. Worms really prefer smaller pieces. You'll want to aim for strips about 2 to 3 inches wide. Shredding like this increases the surface area, which, helps microbes colonize the cardboard a whole lot faster. Now go ahead and soak your cardboard in water. Just submerge it in a bucket for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's fully soft and pliable. After that, wring it out so it's damp but not dripping, kind of like a sponge. Next, add the soaked cardboard to your bin or garden bed. Just layer it right on top of the soil or in your worm bin. Then, sprinkle a handful of compost or aged manure over it. This introduces the microbial starter culture that really gets everything going. So, cover and wait. Keep the area moist and shaded, Within a few days, microbes will begin breaking down the cardboard, and you might notice a mild earthy smell. Not long after, worms will move in naturally from the surrounding soil or from existing populations in your bin. Honestly, this trick works so well that within about 2 months, I went from struggling to keep my purchased worms alive to harvesting handfuls of healthy, active worms every single time I dug into the bin. When you buy worms, they often come stressed from travel and abrupt environmental changes. They really need time to adjust, and honestly, many just don't survive. With the cardboard method, though, you're attracting native worms that are already adapted to your local soil and climate. They're stronger, reproduce faster, and integrate seamlessly into your compost or raised beds. Plus, this method costs nothing and can be scaled up easily. You can set up multiple worm stations around your garden simply by layering cardboard under mulch or leaf litter. Over time, these become miniature worm hubs that enrich the entire soil web. Once you've got worms moving in, maintenance is honestly pretty minimal. Just keep the bedding moist, not wet, and every few weeks or so, top it up with new strips of cardboard or shredded paper. You can add small amounts of food scraps if you want, but try not to overfeed. Too much nitrogen-rich material, like fruit peels or bread, can actually sour the bin. If you're doing this outdoors, just cover the area with a thin layer of mulch to help protect moisture and maintain a steady temperature. In colder climates, the cardboard layer insulates worms through winter, allowing them to stay active longer. After a few months, you'll notice that the cardboard has mostly turned into a rich, dark humus, pure worm castings. That's your cue to harvest the compost or add another fresh layer of cardboard to restart the process. The first season I tried this, I stopped buying worms altogether. My compost bins became self-replenishing ecosystems, alive with native red wigglers, night crawlers, and soil-dwelling decomposers. My plants responded instantly: darker foliage, better moisture retention, and faster growth. Even better, I realized that I didn't need to manage my worms anymore. They regulated themselves naturally, thriving when food was available and, burrowing deeper when conditions changed. The simple act of soaking and layering cardboard had quietly turned my compost system into a living, breathing soil factory. Honestly, you don't need fancy worm bins or expensive starter kits to build healthy soil. All you really need is a few pieces of damp cardboard and, some patience. This method works because it aligns with nature: slow, steady, microbial-driven decay that invites worms to join the process instead of, forcing them into it. So, next time you're about to toss that shipping box, just think twice, tear it up, soak it, and let the worms come to you. Your garden, and your wallet, will thank you.